Okay, that's up. Okay, function, scope, and flexibility. Getting a header yourself. If your program keeps growing, you may have to scroll through many declarations before you see main. It doesn't seem like the best way to do things. Plus, you should want to keep declaring the same function over and over for different files. Making changes would be incredibly tiresome. Wait, what? Plus, you don't want to keep declaring the same functions over and over for different files. Making changes would be incredibly tiresome. Well, you can take those functions, declarations, and move them all over to a header file. Another file, usually with the same name as the file, with all of the function definitions with the extension .hpp or .h. For example, if your function definitions are in myfunctions.cpp, the corresponding header file would be myfunctions.hpp or myfunctions.h. So how do you bring everything from the header file into the scope for another file? Do you just link the header and the compilation statement like you did with the second .cpp file? As it turns out, with headers, you can just add the include hashtag. Yep, I know that, to the very top of the main page. Yeah, I already know that. Boom. This line pasted everything. This line pastes in everything from the myfunctions.hpp. Now you have access to all the function declarations you stowed away in your header. Move the function declarations from above the main into main.cpp into fns.hpp, compile and execute. Wait, what? Move the function declaration from above main into the fns.hpp. So right here. Wait. Well, I know. I knew it wasn't going to fucking work because they didn't do the header thing. Oh, okay, so copy. Okay, that's the declarations right there. And this is the right there. .hpp, that's the declarations. So declarations go here. This is where you describe everything. Okay. Oh. Forgot to remove them from there. Did that work? It's not gonna work because it didn't include the name. So it would have to be hashtag include fns dot h. Oh, that's not h. That's an a. hpp. And close that. Okay, include, and then it should know what. Huh? Oh. There we go. I'll compile the files. Remember to link the two before compiling. Okay, so it's going to be G++. Then we got to put main.cpp. Then space, and then fns.cpp. Okay. And then we need to execute it, which I believe the execution command was a.out. That was not correct. It's /, not backslash. Oh, come on, select it. So backslash. Oh wait, no. Dot backslash a dot out. And there we go. And it executes it. There we go. Okay. Move function declarations here. So these are the declarations. So you can move the declarations over here. And then this is the actual data for it. Oh. How's it going? Bullshit a lot. How's it going? There we go. And I'm doing good for now. I'm just trying to learn, so. How to to get your functions in line. Once you set foot in the wild of C++ development, you may encounter the terms inline functions with a couple different meanings. An inline function is a function definition, usually in a header file, qualified by inline like this. Okay, so using inline advises the compiler to insert the function's body where the function call is, which sometimes helps with execution speed and sometimes hinders exception speed. If you do use it, we recommend testing how it affects the execution speed of your program. The bottom line is inline is something you'll probably encounter but may never use. However, you will sometimes also hear about inline functions that are just member functions, i.e. functions inside of classes. We'll explain classes later, which have been defined and declared in a single line in a header file because the function body is so short. Please note that you should always add the inline keyword if you are inlining functions in a header, unless you are dealing with member functions which are automatically inlined for you. It's set up with a good night's declaration and definition split into the night HPP and night CPP respectively. We'll try using the inline keyword to see how it affects the runtime of the function. We're using a library header called chrono that allows us to clock time in milliseconds. Don't worry if you don't understand all of the syntax used for this. First run your code as is. How many milliseconds did it take for the goodnight to execute? Okay, move the very short definition of goodnight from placing the declaration. Okay, move the very short definition of goodnight from the CPP over to the night HPP. Replacing the declaration. Okay. Short definition of good night. Okay. Definition of good night 1. And the word inline above the function. Above the function. Okay. Replacing the declaration. Oh, okay, replacing the declaration. Oh, I put the inline in the wrong place. Okay. So you put the inline over here. Okay. Come on. Scope and flexibility default arguments. If you add a parameter to a function in C++, then an argument will be required when you call the function. What does required mean here? Well, you'll get an error. But what if 9 times out of 10 you know you'll use the same input value? It would be really annoying to have to enter the same value over and over again. To make your code more flexible for situations like this, you can add a default argument to your function declaration. Default arguments are values assigned to parameters when the function is declared and defined. Okay, declaration void intro string name string lang equals C++. Define void intro string name string lang. Okay, std cout. Hi, my name is, and I'm learning. Okay. Then you'll leave the argument blank in your function called. Instead of an error, your function will run with the default value. Meanwhile, if you do have an argument to add when you call the function, that argument will replace the default argument when your code executes. Either of these will work for the function we define. Intro, Marvel, I'm learning C++, Marvel Python. Okay, I see. Important, your computer cannot read your mind. It determines which argument corresponds with which parameter based on order. Parameters without default arguments come first. This will work for add nums3 because the computer knows 3 corresponds to num1. Int add num, int num1, int num2 equals 0. But the following does not work for num3. The computer assumes that 3 still corresponds to num1. What? The first argument is the default value. The second argument is not the default value. A coffee delivery system where people can order no milk or sugar, Coffee with milk, coffee with sugar, coffee with milk and sugar. It's a bunch of options, but most of the time people just want plain black coffee. You have a function to make coffee built out, but it's not efficient for people to always enter that they are not having milk or sugar. So what are you to do? Default arguments for false to the parameters and make coffee in coffee.hpp. Well, hello there. Oh, okay. Let's see here. What do we got? Build out, but it's not efficient for people. So, okay, so default arguments to the rescue. Add default arguments of false to the parameters of make coffee. Yup, that's how it be sometimes. Say same like always. Same like always. Just kind of relaxing. Okay, I know what to do here. You need to do equals and then just make sure I spell false correctly. So how's your Christmas, Teo? Ah. Oh.
Little row of lasers that go from top to bottom. It's really neat to see. I don't know if you've seen like just like really like weird ass video about like I guess a black dude getting like that type of laser surgery and it's like taking away his melanin or something. It's something like it's kind of like that in a way. Yeah, doesn't really hurt. Kind of like a slightly minor sunburn, if you want to think of it like that. Of course, over there, I had my grandmother, who's also a doctor, check up a couple of things on me. She helped me get my lab works done, and everything's good. Of course, because I was drinking a lot over the Christmas holiday, and because when you do that laser surgery, because it makes so many like little tiny holes in it, you can't really take ibuprofen out of just. It's not guaranteed, but like out of like maybe slight risk of bleeding in the area. I was taking some Tylenol, and then, you know, for dinners I was drinking. So they said my liver enzymes were a little up, and then they said, yeah, we probably need to cut back on some of the eating because I'm not pre-diabetic yet, but they said I was borderline against like, ooh.
That's not good.
Okay. Yeah. Because they said my hemoglobin A1C was like 0.1 below the normal, and they said that is kind of starting to borderline, you know, pre-diabetic. So I need to go on Amazon because they got like this little rowboat thing, and I do want to exercise a little bit more. This little exercise rowboat machine.
Oh,
I might invest into that. And then I found out I have a really bad hemorrhoid. So that wasn't fun.
Yep, that's definitely not fun.
Yeah, so I had to get the preparation H and the fucking suppositories, and I'll tell you that, don't ever get hemorrhoids, man. That shit's not fun to put in.
Oh yeah.
That shit's so fucking weird. But I feel better taking the medication, so, you know, hindsight 2020.
Yeah. That's how it'll be sometimes. Stream coffee.
Other than that, I had a friend that broke his darn index controller.
That's not
over
fun.
the new year. Yeah. We've been trying to make some fundraisers for him, and as soon as he's trying to put in his wish list, apparently the controllers are out of stock right now. I'm like, what the fuck? So when does like Valve like run out of like fucking product like that? So I asked him too. It's like, is there no way for you to use like different controllers for the index? Isn't there like a way you can pair like, I don't know, say like a Vive controller to like the Steam index? I don't know if like the trackers, the base stations can pick that up. You said no. It's like, oh, well, that's unfortunate. Kind of sucks when like that type of technology is a little too proprietary. You can't like slightly mix and match. I kind of wish I could have like the index like headset, but with Quest controllers, because sometimes like my the index controllers themselves, they're nice with like the finger recognition. But the thing about it is that sometimes the finger sensors aren't quite accurate, and I'll be making like weird expressions out of nowhere for no reason. Way better of an upgrade than the Quest 2 though, that's for sure. I just wish I did like the Quest 2's controller though. I thought the controller was like really simple. Not only that, you can like, if your battery was low, you just get two AA batteries, one for each, and then boom, you're ready to go for like 8 more hours. So how's the coding and C++ stuff coming along?
And making progress.
Slow? Yeah.
Yeah, slow.
Making progress? Yeah. That'd probably be like that.
Especially because there's only so much I can learn in one day before my brain's like, yep, in one ear, out the other.
Yeah. You don't ever want to push yourself too hard, at least.
Yep. Like this fucking thing I'm currently doing is I'm a bit confused.
Well, I think what's nice about C++ is that even if it takes a crash course, there's probably some other online resources where there's like a community. There's like, oh yeah, here's like here's what I did. Sometimes people will find like better alternatives to like what they teach you. That's how I found out like how the community does it. Now that it's also like one of the more accessible like programs people can learn too. So, Lord, I can't begin to fathom what fucking Unix coding's like. So I heard that's like one of the reasons people don't make viruses for like Linux or Apple's, because the Unix coding's a fucking bitch to program for. And most people who make viruses just don't fucking bother as a result.
Oh, the answer was so simple. Oh.
I hate that shit too.
Oh, okay, so I see. So because I set those values by default to false, it no longer has to check for the false. Okay. And there was one person. Wait, there was one. What do we got? What do we? Brain doesn't work. So wait.
What was I doing again? Oh yeah. I had at the door and I stopped myself. I'm like, wait, am I forgetting something? Oh yeah, I forgot to turn on the dishwasher.
Wait, what? There's still 2 arguments to check if you're still. Wait, what? What do you mean? Huh? Wait, what? What do you mean? Oh wait, I still need the false for that one? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. That's right, because it's gonna think that's the first slot for that. So false and then true. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Problem solved. I figured it out. I just can't wait to start working on the freaking game. Jesus Christ.
Now you'll get there in no time.
Yeah, coding takes a while, but
Yeah,
I'm just...
Pace yourself, man. No, don't stress yourself too much about. I mean, stress enough where you can obviously, you know, motivate yourself to get it done, but don't push yourself too hard just to get it done, and then you end up burning yourself out of just making the game entirely.
Yeah, but so far the only time I've really encountered that kind of issue was once it got to the art stuff, but luckily I found an artist, so...
Oh, nice.
So now I has the full team. The team of 3.
Didn't know I asked this the other day, but, you know, speaking of games, anything you're looking forward to this year? Game-wise?
That's a good question. I don't think so.
Got a couple coming out actually 3. That's coming out next month. But one of them I don't have a console for. I really thought about getting a PS5. So I got Christmas money from my parents. And I decided, and I just looked at the PS5 library and it's just like, you know what? Maybe I'll just wait a couple more years for 7 Remake Part 2. There's just like really no incentive for me to get the PS5. It's like that fucking Linkin Park meme. One game. I don't know why I bought a PS5 with no games to buy. Keep that in mind. They designed the drive to improve loading times. That's all I know.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I was like, well, and I thought about it, it's like, oh, you know, I can use this money to get like maybe full body tracking parts now. I want to wait till the end of the month because I did buy into that Slime VR stuff, and apparently I was supposed to get my stuff by the end of this month. I'll have to check and see what the status of that is. But yeah, I was looking forward to Red Blue Fantasy Relink, which is like a multiplayer Monster Hunter / Tales of like game.
Wait, what was that called?
That was like in development. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. It's like based off the gacha game of the same name. They made like 2 fighting games out of it too. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus and Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising.
Oh. Actually, that what they're doing is actually extremely fucking smart. So this is one of the things I think is really fucking funny is you know how like you have some people that are like, oh, is it a game uses the same assets? That's actually really fucking smart to do. If you have a world that you can make several different games with and use the same assets, small studios should be doing that.
I was gonna say, that game just has a lot of fuck you money, too, because they're a gacha game for like as long as they can remember. So even the original Grand Blue Fantasy Versus had like really good production value, with it being on Unreal Engine 4 and doing like a Guilty Gear Xrd type style of animation.
Yeah.
But it kind of died off because the COVID pandemic happened and the game was delay-based netcode.
Oh, yes.
So, even though it actually did well in the DLC market, because they still made like DLC characters for that game, then Rising comes out and it's like, oh yeah, re-releasing the entire... It's basically like, it's technically a sequel fighting game in a sense, but it's really more like an expansion / sequel to the original one. Just brand new mechanics. The entire roster from the first one's there, including all the DLC, and then got new characters coming in as well. It's also got like a Fall Guys game mode too, which is really funny, and it's actually really fun.
Oh yeah, you were showing me that one the other day. Well, last time we talked.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. I'll hop off Wi-Fi because I do need to start heading towards work. One sec.
Friends on a project that involves creating fancy number operations. Unfortunately, your friend have no idea that function overload was a thing, so they built a few different functions with different names that all do almost the same operation. You do know about function overload, so you can change all 3 functions at the same time. Change the function name in the following places so that the fancy number is overloaded. How do you overload? Void print cat ears, Charlotte. Oh, that's what it means.
There we go. Ooh, I had to use the restroom before I left. I don't know why I turned on all my lamps. Now I think about it, I mean, so much power.
The cat is meowing.
Meow?
It just made a sad meow. Cat, what is wrong? Oh my god, it's
water. Back.
One second. Let me go make sure the cat doesn't need food or anything.
Yeah.
There we go. The cat needed water.
It looks like it rained. Either this morning or last night. Oh man, I left my fucking tool bag in the house. This is the thing with me in the mornings before I go to work. I swear I'll go out, get ready and everything, and then I'll have something happens like, oh, well, I gotta go back inside now and grab something. Oh, I forgot something else too. It's like, oh, oops, oopsie. Uh-oh. I've not been fired.
Okay, so I don't know exactly how one overloads these things.
Oh Lord, hang on. Give me a few minutes.
Okay.
I'm having a battle between Bluetooth at the moment.
Ah, yes. The good old, age-old combat of the Bluetooth. It's function overload. Okay. Char int. No, not concept review. Just different type of parameters. Okay. Different number of parameters. Okay, so in theory it should know that this is the one to use. So minus oh, it's literally that's the same function though. They literally both do the same fucking thing. Yeah, I can get away with it just being like that. Yeah, it's fine. Function templates. Overloading can be really tedious. Imagine you want to create a new function that works with int, float, double, and other number types. Welcome back. Do you really need a redefine the same function body over and over again with different parameters? Thankfully not when two functions have different types but the same body, as was the case with print cat ears. There is a clear solution for you. Use templates. Okay, wait, what is this? 13, 15, int. T add together. Oh, wait a minute. T for template, add together. Oh. Interesting. Huh. Okay. A template is a C++ tool that allows programmers to add data types as parameters. This feature comes in handy for classes as well as for functions. In fact, std : string and vector are both template-based types. C++ standard library is full of templates. Okay. Interesting. How to build a function how to build function templates. So how do we implement templates with actual code? Unlike regular functions, templates are entirely created in header files. Templates let us choose the type implementation right when you call the function. The type we choose may apply to the return type, a parameter type, or both. Here's how we could build a template for print cat ears. So the template type is flexible. Template pointy bits, type name T. Okay. Void print cat ears. Okay, so then we can call the function for int share a string or double. Interesting. Now we can use print cat ears with a parameter of any type we want, as long as the type can be used with the methods expected. For example, we couldn't pass an vector into the current print cat ears because it won't work with the vector. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. Using templates will slow down the program's compile time, but speed up the execution time. Okay. So it takes longer to compile then, okay. Here's the deal, you have get smallest overload for int and double, but you may want to use the function with more types later. Equip with your new understanding of function templates, you can make this happen. Ready? Replace the function declaration in the numbers HPP with a function template that allows for various number types and returns the type passed in. For example, if you pass in 2 ints, the function should return an int. Oh, cell phone, be quiet, cell phone. Cell phone, no. Then remove the definition and numbers.cpp. They are now unnecessary. And run the main CPP. Okay. So I need to make that in the HPP. So So it would be get smallest. Okay, so we want to get, so we want to just turn that into one thing. So then we'd go here. Template. Template. Type name, it's gonna be get underscore smallest. Capital T, then we close that off. And then we go here, avoid. T num. So we're going to copy that bit actually, and then go here and we're going to paste that because that's what we need. Put that T there, T there. Oh, yep, that's correct. T there, and then that should be good, I believe. And then remove everything here. Okay. The fuck? Wait, what? With a return type T? Wait, what? What? The fuck? Hello? Just doing some lessons. It's using the template stuff. The return type. Oh, type name. Okay, that's supposed to be okay. It's supposed to be the other thing because they wanted.
Well, but wish you some luck. I'm gonna chill out on the road and get to work soon. So,
Okay, you have a great day, Teo.
yep, you too, man. Catch you later.
Yep, see you.
See ya.
Intent. Let's use the function with more types later. Oh wait, let me turn. Disable that so I can actually not have to worry about copyright. There we go. Unlock regular functions. Parameter of any type we want, as long as the type can be used with the methods expected. For example, we couldn't pass a vector. Make this happen. Ready. Replace the function declaration in the with a function template. let's see here. Flip it to the far as a generic type definition. Okay, so it would be so template class then T. Supposed to be template class and then T, so it's an actual keyword name? So then I need to make two separate ones then for this. Oh. Okay. I thought it meant by putting like the type's name there, but okay, so I'm guessing what it's doing then is it's then acquiring the type of the input, and then that's how. Okay, so that would make sense then. That's how it actually finds out what the input is in the first place. Huh, that's interesting. smallest. We gotta assign the numbers. So it would be. Yeah, T. Nope, needs to be capital. Also, thank you for that information. Because honestly, probably would not have figured that out until I pushed the show solution button. Okay, replace the function. Oh shit. That definitely would have gave me an error. Okay, template. Function templates. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my god, I can't spell for shit. Where am I fucking up here? I swear to God, that's what I had. Wait, what? I swear to God, that's what I had. This is what I originally had. Where was it? Wait, what? What? Okay, so that's where the error was. Okay. Yep. I knew I was doing something wrong. Everything I had was right, it's just I didn't have that fucking... Didn't move that to the next line. User error. God fucking damn it. Okay, So it would have worked in a code sense. It was just I didn't do exactly what Code Academy wanted me to do. Okay. That's happened a couple times here. Quite a bit, but now you have a bit of a new scope. Work for function of files. More flexible for different uses. Scope is the region of code that has access to an element. Global scope variables are accessible everywhere. A variable created inside a function has a local scope and can't be accessed outside the function. Are usually split into code more modular. We usually split to make code more modular. Declaration in a header file, the definition in another CPP file. Programs with multiple CPP files need to be linked at compile time. G++. Yep. The file with the main. Yep. Define a function inline using the inline keyword, which may or may not improve execution speed. Default arguments, it can be added to function declarations so that you can call the function without including those arguments. You can overload C++ functions so that they handle different types of inputs and return different types. A function template enables a function to behave the same way with different types of parameters. Okay, so this is the part where I can just do whatever I want, but I don't really want to play around with that. Wait a minute. Wait, was that just a free video to watch? Oh, okay. Yep, this is the bit I actually wanted to get to. Oh, I'm gonna have to pause the music. I also need to use the bathroom real quick. There we go. Enable this so that way it picks up the audio. Oh my god. Okay, here we go.
Hey, my name is Mike. I'm a developer from Philadelphia, and in this video, I'm going to give you an introduction into object-oriented programming by answering the question, what are classes and objects? So without further ado, let's get into it, and we'll learn about these two really important concepts. One of the best things about writing programs is being able to easily work with and keep track of different types of data. In fact, data is the driving force behind most programs that you'll write. And programmers are constantly parsing strings, adding and subtracting numbers, counting things, and passing different pieces of data around. In all major applications, being able to work with data in an organized and structured way is extremely important. Now, by default, most programming languages will allow you to store and keep track of three distinct types of data: text, numbers, and Boolean values. With these 3 data types, we can represent all different types of information, things like people's names with text, whether or not someone is an organ donor with a Boolean value, or the price of an item with a number. And being able to keep track of simple pieces of data like this is really great. But what happens when we need to work with more complex data? We can represent a name with a string and a price with a number, but what if we want to represent something more complex like an entity in the real world? Let's take a student, for example. Imagine we were writing a program for a school and we wanted to keep track of the students who are currently enrolled. So now instead of keeping track of names with strings or prices with numbers, we want to be able to keep track of students. But the problem is we don't have a data type for students. There's no student data type floating around that's built into the language like strings, numbers, or booleans. On top of that, we might also want to define some
Wait. Friend messaged me? What? Who messaged me?
functionality around the student, like giving school administrators the ability to mark a student as absent or change their grades, for example. And as we write more and more complex programs like the one for this school, we'll want to be able to keep track of and model more complex pieces of data, and therefore we need more complex data types. In order to solve this problem, we can use an object-oriented programming language. An object-oriented programming language is a programming language which allows developers to create their own custom data types. So even if the language doesn't provide a student data type by default, a developer could create the student data type and then use it just like they would a normal string, number, or Boolean value. So if we use an object-oriented programming language to write our school program, we can easily keep track of all of the students by creating a custom student data type. So how exactly does this work? How can we go about creating our student data type and start creating students in our program? The first step is to create a student class. In object-oriented programming, a class is a specification of the new data type. It's essentially a blueprint that tells the programming language what the new data type looks like and what it's made up of. In our student class, we can define the attributes and the functionality that make up a student by creating a student class. The attributes of a class are individual strings, numbers, or booleans which define the attributes of the entity we're modeling. In this case, a student might have a name attribute, which would be a string, a GPA attribute, which would be a number, a year attribute for freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, that might also be a string, and then maybe a has scholarship boolean, which would determine whether or not the student has a scholarship. So you can see we can define all these different attributes of a student, which themselves would be either strings, numbers, or booleans. In addition to attributes, we can also define functionality around the student. So for example, we might create a has honors function inside of the student class, which would use the GPA of the student to determine if they qualify for honors. So maybe if the student has a GPA of greater than 3.5, then we would say they have honors. Or we could create a give scholarship function, which would set the has scholarship boolean to true, thus giving the student a scholarship. And so the class can have these attributes and these functions which will essentially make up the data type and allow us to define what a student looks like in our program. When we create a class, we tell the language what this new data type looks like and what it does, but all we're doing here is describing the data type. We're not actually creating a student that we can work with. To create a student in our program, we'll need an object. An object is an instance of a class, which means a student object would be an instance of our student class. So a student object is an actual student with an actual name, GPA, to work with. What we're doing here is describe the language what this new data type looks like and what it does, but all we're doing here is describing the data type. We're not actually creating a student that we can work with. To create a student in our program, we'll need an object. An object is an instance of a class, which means a student object would be an instance of our student class. So a student object is an actual student with an actual name, GPA, year, and scholarship status. So in our program, we might create 3 student objects with names Jack, Kate, and Sawyer, and each of them would be an instance of our student class. Now the object is the actual thing that we're going to work with in our programs. You could pass it around, you could store it inside of a variable, you could access each one of those attributes or call any of those functions. The object is the implementation of the class. The class is just simply the blueprint. It defines what the new data type looks like. Now, the cool thing about classes and objects is that once we define what the data type looks like in the class, we can create as many objects or instances of that class as we want. So our program can keep track of thousands of student objects, all with their own name, GPA, year, etc. Now, our code could also use the functions exposed by each of these student objects to, for example, give them scholarships or figure out if they have honors. So if some other piece of code was responsible for granting scholarships to students, it could use the give scholarship function for a particular student in order to do that. So object-oriented programming is really great because it allows us to model real-world entities like students in our programs. So we can create a student class and then create instances of that student class, student objects, and use them. Now, you could do the same thing with other entities in the real world. It doesn't just have to be students. You could model a light bulb, you could model a microphone, you can model an animal or a day of the week. You can model anything that you can think of. And object-oriented programming is great because it allows you to be flexible enough to model just about anything in the real world. So that's a little bit about object-oriented programming. It's an extremely popular way to write programs, and most of the modern programming languages support it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned something new. I'll see you next time.
Okay. This is the bit I was waiting to get to. Yeah, boy. Oh, no, did not mean to do that. Come on. No, go back. Go back down. There we go. There we go. Move that over there. And now to disable that and then turn the music back on. So far we use several data types, including when we work with industry, we can create variables with certain properties and methods specific to those types. But what happens when you create a type for something else? You can make your own. Oh, that's a name. Bjarni Stroustrup developed C++ because he wanted to add a feature known as classes to the C language, and C++ class is a user-defined type. The class serves as a blueprint for objects which are instances of the classes, just like age is an instance of it. An object gets characteristics and behaviors from its classes. We can create an empty C++ class like this in a header file. Wait, fun fact, C++'s original name was C with classes. Okay. A new class song in song.hpp. Okay. So okay, so that's gonna be class song. Like that. What? Oh, I see. Because I did not capitalize the S. Yep. Did not capitalize the S. An empty class is pretty useless. Classes are designed to bring together related information and functionality. Time to add stuff inside. Components of a class are called class members. Just like you can get a string's length using .length, you can access class members using the dot operator. So object.class member. There are two types. Jesus. Two types of class members. There are two types of class members, which is also known as member data. Okay. Okay. I need to stop because I gotta go do a bunch of things. God dang it. Okay. So I'm gonna end it there because I got other things I gotta do. I gotta do laundry and shit. Okay. Well. Thank you. Thanks everyone for stopping on in. You guys have a great day. I'm gonna head out.